Nice to be here with you today, as always. It's springtime where I am. The earth is waking up. Days are a little bit warmer, which is really, really nice. Hello, Lisa. Good to be with you today. So, today we're going to do a little constellation around belonging. And mostly I just listen to what's up in the field and what's circling around and getting my attention. Hugs back to you, Lisa. You need this. I need it, we need it. I think these things come up because it's timely. Perhaps we're doing healing work in layers, and as things arise, we can remember that they're coming up for us and coming up for the collective as well. Because certainly with belonging, we get a lot of messages of not belonging in various ways. All of the messaging of separation and division of, our world, our media is feeding back to us a lot of information that is about how we're divided, we're different. Sometimes we should fear each other and things like that. And we all have our own imprints around not belonging in so many ways. I know for myself, because of my history of being an adopted person, that was like coming into the world feeling like I don't belong. And as we journey through life, there are all kinds of experiences that we have of feeling like we belong or that we don't belong, feeling like we're part of the group and feeling like we're exiled from the group. So this really feels like it's time to do a little bit of work around this in a really gentle way. In family constellation work, the work of Bert Hellinger that he developed many decades ago, there are 3 orders of love. One is order in the family, another is giving and receiving, and the third is belonging. So it is a very universal aspect to our being of feeling like we belong in the tribe and that we don't belong. And so this is a threshold, if you will. If you can imagine, say there's a threshold between 2 spaces and we dance in and out of the threshold of belonging and not belonging. So we're going to spend a little bit of time being with that today. Not so much thinking about it and talking about it, but feeling it in these amazing vessels that we have been given. So I'm going to invite you to possibly grab a little stuffed animal if you have something kind of cozy. Can be any size. We can have like a little tiny one, like this cute little wee little owl. And I've also got this big doggy here. So this can be a nice one to use for just in terms of having something to hold on to and cuddle as your own little one. And then I'm going to also ask you to grab an object of some sort. For me, this is the one that came today. Look at this amazing, beautiful crystal. So gorgeous. Oh, a cat. That's lovely. So the object is going to represent the concept of belonging. Okay. So, and it can be anything that you have within reach, that you reach for and grab. And I'll just wait a minute while you grab your stuff. Have a little sip of my morning elixir. Okay. So dropping into the field now. And the field also includes everything around you and everything that you hear. It's really nice to be open to what you hear going on outside. If you hear birds, vehicles, it's all part of the field. Field of information that's feeding information back to us. So I just want to say to begin that we're not going to go right into feeling not belonging, but just the concept of belonging. And I also want to let you know that I did some really amazing work with Hanumanji over the last couple of months, and he's a wonderful member of our group, and he does entity clearing. And I did a piece of work with him and his colleagues, and they did some clearing with me. And after the clearing was over, I had an immaculately clear mind, and the usual mental chatter that is going in the background kind of all the time was gone. And that was an incredible moment where I realized that this entity that they had cleared was like a spiritual attachment that fit my ideas of myself. So there is a part of myself that relative to this feeling of belonging and not belonging, used to feel very sorry for myself and used to tell myself in my head stories of I don't belong, I don't fit in, nobody understands me, that sort of thing. And when I had this wonderful experience of having this entity / energy cleared from my body that was a match for my beliefs around not belonging, that voice got quiet. So it was no longer there. And so if those thoughts come in again, I realize that that's actually not coming from me. That these are stories that I attached to when I was very young. And these energetic attachments can feed those stories and perpetuate them and keep them going. So I would invite you to consider that as well. Now, I know that Hanumanji is available to work with people, and I was told that I tend to sponge up energies. I'm very empathic. So these days I've actually started to look at if those thoughts arise in my mind, I see that as an energy attachment that is not me, and have conversations of love with this part, with this being or part of myself, inviting them to go toward the light, and that is not a conversation I need to be having anymore. So if you would like some contact information if you do want to work with Hanumanji. Feel free to send it along, and then I can connect you, or you can find him in the group. And it's a group of people that work together, and they're absolutely lovely and so loving and so caring about all of us and our collective ascension together. So I just wanted to let you know that to start out, because it's pretty interesting to consider that perhaps those parts of ourselves that we feel don't belong are not even us. They can be energy attachments. So the reason that I wanted to come on and talk about belonging right now is because it's a conversation that's really been coming up in my community, with friends. So it feels like it's timely. So I'm going to invite you now. So in doing constellation work, what that work means is we're feeling our feelings. So grab your stuffy or your kitty, and we're going to go into feeling our bodies. So we're going to start with our connection with our own representation of our own little one. And as you hold this representative of yourself when you were little, and could have been when you first felt like you don't belong, or later in life, later childhood. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just feel into the somatic experience in our bodies, in this field of awareness around belonging. And so you can close your eyes if you need to, and just tune into your own body sensations when you're here with this little one. And just feeling what comes up. It can be a tension, a temperature change, an area of your body where your attention is being drawn. For myself, I feel a little bit of nervous energy in my lower legs and my feet. So just sense into what that feels like in your own body. And take some breaths. I'm also feeling some real heat. Heat coming up. I'm going to open the window for a minute. Yeah, because it started to feel hard to breathe. So we're going to co-regulate a little bit. Locate our nervous systems and just settle them down, reassuring this little one that they're safe, cared for. Mine kind of wants to be held like a baby. We can work gently and slowly with our nervous systems and take our time. There's no rush. This little one wants to feel safe. Because often feelings of belonging or not belonging triggers us into feelings of our physical safety. When we feel like we belong, we feel safe. And when we feel like we don't belong, it can feel very risky. We're not really sure about the environment that we're in. So just reassuring this representative of your little one that this is a safe time. We're just going to be doing a little bit of gentle exploring. We're not going to jump into the pain body. We're just feeling our bodies. And that's okay. And now very gently, I want you to bring your object that represents belonging. For me, it's this wonderful crystal here. And I want you to bring it into your field. Just place it somewhere close to you. Well, maybe not somewhere close to you. Maybe where it feels right. Some of us have found the experience of belonging or not belonging to be very painful. So if what you want is to put that object that represents belonging, if you want to put it as far from you as possible, notice that reaction. This is all about noticing your feelings. For some of us, it might be want to be right on the edge of our field of awareness, just like that threshold I was talking about before. Because it's something that we step in and out of, is this sense of belonging. So notice where this object wants to be, first of all. And for those who are just arriving, we're working around belonging. And so we have a stuffy to represent our small selves and an object to represent belonging. And we've done a little bit of work to comfort our little one and let them know that we're just going to be exploring the concept of belonging today. And we're now bringing in this object. For me, I brought this beautiful crystal to represent belonging today. It could be anything. And we're just exploring, doing constellation work is about feeling your feelings in your body, your felt sense or a somatic experience. So we're now just placing the object that represents belonging somewhere in our field. So my first impression is wanting to put this behind me where I don't have to look at it. So I'm going to try that for a minute. I'm going to put it back here because I've done that a lot. Try to ignore. Trying to ignore belonging. So those times when I felt like I don't belong, just ignore it. Just pretend it's not there. So I'm going to notice right now what that feels like, ignoring it, trying to ignore it. It kind of feels like something creeping up behind me. That's going to tap me on the shoulder and remind me, oh, even though you want to ignore me, I'm still here. So I don't really have much choice but to bring it back out in front of me, because this feels like something's lurking behind me. And so when you place belonging in your field, notice your felt sense in your body. What comes up for you? So I tried to put it behind me, but now I'm going to put it in front of me, right where I can see it, because now I want to keep my eye on it. Keep it in sight. And when I look at this, I'm definitely feeling that dance toward and away. My body wants to move toward belonging, and it wants to move back from belonging, because those times when I felt like I don't belong are so painful that I want to back up. And the times when I felt like I do belong are so warm and inviting that I want to move toward it. And so notice what's happening in your body relative to belonging. And there's so much potency in that word, belonging. We're all longing for this sense of feeling connected and part of something bigger than us. So feeling in your body, belonging, not belonging, and that space between, where we move in and out. We can have a feeling of, a memory if you've ever been in a really busy city and you go on the subway or on public transit and you're surrounded by people, and you might be contained in a bus or a subway where you belong to the group of people in that vehicle, and yet you have no connection to anyone other than you're all human. And then in another extreme, we can be completely alone in nature. Say you're in a forest, surrounded by trees, but no other humans. See you later, Lisa. But you can feel like you belong to nature. So this isn't about an answer, this is an exploration. You can be in a moment when you feel really connected to family, friends, and feel like you're part of the tribe and these are your people and this is where you belong. And then there are times when we step out and we feel belonging with ourselves. Belonging is a dance. As we move through life and through the world, we move into belonging and out of belonging, into groups, out of groups, into self, out of self. So So notice where belonging lives in your body, a felt sense. Maybe it's time to take that object in your hand, if it feels right. And bring it within. Instead of looking outside of ourselves, noticing that belonging is actually a felt sense within us. And if you still have a representative for your little one, you can offer this object that represents belonging to your little one. My little one wants it right in her heart center. This feeling of belonging. Because the world is always going to give us messages. It's always going to be reflecting back to us what we carry within ourselves. So if this sense of belonging lives here, feeling that sense of belonging to yourself, then whatever the outer world is reflecting to you isn't going to shake it so much. Maybe putting your hand on your heart. Taking a breath and allowing your sense of belonging to land in your own heart center. How powerful it is to claim belonging for yourself, to yourself. Not quite so vulnerable to the ebb and flow of what's going on around us. Who comes into our circle and who leaves. As we flow through the world. What happens when the sense of belonging resides within? What sort of settling occurs in the heart? What settling occurs in your little one? For me, there's a real pervasive calmness. That I'm not seeking what I look for outside of me, but that it's within me. And I've moved from belonging, longing for something, to be calming. Yeah, I'd like to say that it is something that I've heard here and there in comments in this group over the last few months of people saying that they feel like they found where they belong. In a group of people that are here to live from their hearts and to be love. Feeling so good to be in such good company, walking with such mighty companions. And so I invite you to lean into that sense of belonging to something greater. We can carry this feeling of belonging within ourselves and also feel the connection to others who also belong on this path of peace and light and truth and beauty, caring, compassion, kindness, sweetness, service, gentleness, commitment, and dedication to this new earth that Mama Gaia is birthing right now. We belong to Mother Earth, Father Sky, to ourselves and to each other. And I'm thankful to be here with all of you. So thank you so much for doing this work with me today. I hope that you carry this beautiful sense of belonging within yourself, feeling that calmness in your core, and knowing that we're here with you, that you belong to me and I belong to you. Thank you for sharing this beautiful practice with me today. I love you very much. Mwah. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye for now.